Hello everyone, welcome back. In previous lecture, we discussed about one-to-one relationship mapping, right? In this lecture, we are going to learn many-to-one and one-to-many associations. Okay, we are going to test one-to-many and many-to-one association with command line runner. So yesterday, actually, by mistake, I have deleted the project which we created last week. Sorry, yesterday's class. So let's quickly create one Spring Boot application. Then we'll start implementing one-to-many and many-to-one relationship. Okay. So to create Spring Boot project, start.spring.io, open in Spring Initializer, and I'm going to select Maven project, giving group ID as a relationships. Okay, or associations. Any name we can give. Associations. I will give artifact name or project name as Spring Boot JPA associations. Okay, I don't want package name should be, yeah, I will give only associations. So now I will select JDK 17. So it's already selected. So let me add the dependencies. Quickly add a web module and MySQL driver to connect with the MySQL database and Spring Data JPA to work with the JPA and DevTools. So DevTools will be used to whatever changes we are doing in our application, those changes will reflect automatically in Tomcat server without restarting the server. That is the use of Spring Boot DevTools dependency. So now let me generate the project. Project is downloaded. So let me copy the project into specific folder, any one of the folder. So you can copy any drive. So I'm just pasting in Spring Applications folder. So here let's extract the project. Project is extracted. Now let me copy the project path and we can import that project, right? So import the project, existing Maven project, then select the path or browse the, you can browse or you can copy that project root path. Okay, so let me click on finish so that our project will imported successfully. Now our project is ready now. So before implementing, now our Spring Boot project is ready. So now let me explain you one-to-one. We are going to create one many-to-one and one-to-many association mapping. Let me write it here. One-to-many and many-to-one. So one-to-many in the sense, so in this relationship, we'll have two tables and one table will have one record and and second table will have multiple records, nothing but one to many relationship. Let me tell you one real time example. Uh, if you go to the bank, so generally bank will have customers and accounts, right? So one customer can have multiple bank accounts. Similarly, multiple bank accounts can associated with one customer, and each bank account can have only one customer, right? So we can take one example to perform one to many and many to one relationship. Let me create show you here. Customer, one customer can associate with multiple bank accounts. Similarly, multiple bank accounts can associated with one customer. Okay, so one customer can associated with multiple bank accounts, and similarly multiple bank accounts can associated with one customer, and here each one bank account can associated with only one customer only. So this is called actually one to many relationship. One customer can associated with multiple bank accounts, nothing but one to many relationship. Similarly, multiple bank accounts can associated with one customer, nothing but many to one. It's very easy, guys. You just need to understand the concept. You can take any example. Let's say one person can have multiple SIM cards. That is one to many relationship. Similarly, many SIM cards can have one person, nothing but many to one relationship. Similarly, one person can have multiple cars, and multiple cars can associated with one person. So like that, as many number of real world examples will be there. So you can take any one example and you can implement one to many and many to one association mapping. It's very easy. So in this example, so we are taking customer and bank account relationship. So we are taking example to implement one to many and many to one relationship. Customer and bank account relationship. Okay, one customer can associated with multiple bank accounts. Similarly, multiple bank accounts can associated with one customer. Let's implement this. Okay, so let me go to, so before that, let me show you with practical example. So let me design the database, how one to many to one relationship is going to design. So let me show you. Open the Excel sheet and we create new Excel sheet. So let me, in this example, we have customer table. Okay, and also we will have a bank account. So customer and bank account. So customer will have customer ID and name. Let's say I have added only two columns in customer. So customer will have ID and name. Customer ID and customer name. Similarly, bank account table will have bank account ID and bank account number and bank account name. So, okay, so and bank account name, and it will have let's say customer ID, customer underscore ID. So nothing but, so if you want to maintain relationship between customer and bank account, so we need to have foreign key and primary key relationship, right? So primary key will be customer. Here customer ID is primary key in customer table, and in bank account, what is the primary key? ID. Bank account ID is the primary key. So to define relationship between customer and bank account, so here customer we can take customer ID as a primary key, and in bank account we'll have additional column nothing but customer ID. So the customer ID nothing but primary key column of customer table. So this ID is going to store in customer ID in bank account table. So additionally bank account will have customer ID. So in that case, bank account is owning the relationship, or either you can put here bank account ID in customer table, and you can make customer table as a to own the relationship. So either both the ways you can implement. So in this example I am going to show you, I am going to make a bank account. Let's own the relationship. So who are all owning the relationship, it will have foreign key. Just remember guys, who are all, which are all the entities are going to own the relationship, that will have always primary key. And who are all having not having not non-ownership side, so that time it will not have foreign key, it will have only primary key of that particular table. You can just remember to make you easily understand. So whichever entity, if you make owner of particular association, so that table will have always foreign key of other table. So now here I am going to make a bank account as a, let's bank account main own the relationship. So in that case bank account will have foreign key, and other table will not have foreign key. Other table will have only its own primary key and respective columns. So let's take one example, customer id 1 and customer id name as let me expand this column. Customer, let me take one example, customer id 1, customer name will be Rohit Sharma. Similarly, take another customer number 2, Rohit Sharma and Subman Gill. Okay, Shubman Gill. So I am taking two customers. So customer, what is the customer id is Rohit Sharma's customer id will be 1. So let's now add bank accounts. Let's say bank account id will be 1 and number, let me give bank account number, let me expand so that you can easily understand. So here bank account number will be, let's say some dummy number, and name, bank account name, let me give Axis Bank. So now this bank account will be associated with each bank account. Each one bank account will be associated with one customer ID, right? So for Rohit Sharma, I am for Rohit Sharma, what is the customer ID? 1. For Rohit Sharma customer ID 1, if I add customer underscore ID column 1, nothing but Rohit Sharma is associated with Axis Bank account. Similarly, let me add one more bank account for Rohit Sharma. How we can add? 222 example account, bank account number. So he will have ICICI another bank account, ICICI Bank. So same customer ID will be 1 only. So here customer ID 1, Rohit Sharma is associated with the Axis Bank, and Rohit Sharma is also associated with ICICI Bank. Similarly, let me add one more bank account. So 33333. I'm giving dummy bank account numbers, and I will give SBI Bank, and customer ID will be 1. So now Rohit Sharma customer ID 1. So Rohit Sharma is associated with multiple bank accounts. How many bank accounts? 3. Nothing but one too many relationship. So Rohit Sharma is having multiple bank accounts, nothing but one customer associated with multiple bank accounts, nothing but one too many relationship. Similarly, in reverse way, multiple bank accounts are associated with one customer, nothing but Rohit Sharma. So Rohit Sharma, that is called many to one relationship. Similarly, for Subman Gill, I will add bank account ID will be 4, and then for him I will add dummy bank account number, and I will add him IDBI Bank. IDBI Bank. So here who is the customer? Shubman Gill. What is the Shubman Gill's customer ID? 1. Sorry, 2, right? So let me image like this. So Rohit Sharma, sorry, Shubman Gill's customer ID is 2. So that's the reason I am giving here Shubman Gill's customer ID 2. So Shubman Gill is customer ID is 2. So this is mapped with bank account table, and customer ID number will be 2. So Shubman Gill is associated with IDBI Bank. So let me add another bank account for him. Bank account ID, and triple five something dummy number, and here Axis Bank, another bank. So I will give customer ID as a 2. So now if you see here, Rohit Sharma is associated with 3 bank accounts and Shubman Gill is associated with only 2 bank accounts. Nothing but one customer is associated with multiple banks. So Rohit Sharma is associated with multiple banks, and similarly Shubman Gill also associated with multiple banks like 2 banks, right? So here bank account is owning the relationship. So who are all owning the relationship, which are all the entities or which are all the tables owning the relationship, will have always foreign key. You can blindly remember this, okay? Who are all owning the relationship, so that owner of the entity or respective table will have always foreign key of other table, okay? So let's say if you create owner of the, if you declare customer as a owner, then customer will have bank account ID as a foreign key. So like that you can understand and you can develop your own projects based on your requirement. So in this requirement, one to many and many to one relationship, I have took one example, the relationship between customer and bank accounts. One customer can have multiple bank accounts, and multiple bank accounts can associated with one customer, and each bank account will associated with one customer. So this is called one to many and many to one relationship. Okay, I think I hope you guys are understood. So now we are going to implement this. Okay, so let me go to the Spring Boot application. So we just created Spring Boot application, right? So let me, so this is this application I have created newly. So nothing but I need to add application dot property should have. So if you want to connect with MySQL database, so we have to specify some properties, right? Spring dot sp, or in Spring dot data source dot url you have to specify. So we are going to connect with the MySQL database. So what is the URL to connect with MySQL database? JDBC colon mysql colon slash slash localhost colon default port number 000 0036 slash, I am giving database name as a associ association db, okay, associations db. Okay, I'm giving database name as associations db. So similarly, so we need to connect with database, we need a username, right? We have to give username spring dot database dot username we have to declare. Okay, so what is the username? My database username will be root, and we have to declare password as well, right? Spring dot, sorry, this should be not database, data source. Similarly here also spring dot data source dot password. So my database password will be, during the installation I have given password as a admin. So spring dot, make sure your properties should mention with a correct spelling, otherwise it will throw exception. Okay, so spring dot data source dot url, spring dot data source dot username, spring dot data source dot password. So I have given correctly. So okay, now so who is going to create that table? So we need to create a customer table, bank account table. So I am not going to create manually, so let's Hibernate create. So to create tables by Hibernate, so we have to specify property in application dot properties. What is that property? ddl hyphen auto. So for the spring dot uh, spring dot hibernate dot ddl hyphen auto equal to, I will give update, I will give value as update spring dot hibernate dot ddl hyphen auto auto. Okay, so now let's start our server. So I have given database URL username to connect with MySQL database, and to create auto generate our entities, our tables in database. So I have given this property. So the moment you give this property, so hibernate will generate tables for us, right? Spring dot hibernate dot ddl hyphen auto equal update in the sense it will create the table. If tables are exist in database, it will just update the columns any changes are there, otherwise it will create new tables in database. Okay, so now let me create the entities. So in our example, to perform one to many and many to one relationship, we took example of customer and bank account. So in that case, so we need to create two entities, customer entity and bank account entity. So let me create customer entity. So let me create the package, right click on the root package of the project and create package called nothing but entity. Click on finish button. So now right click on that package and create class called customer entity. I'm going to create a customer entity. So now, so to define an entity, this is a just normal Java class. If you want to declare your class as a entity, then you have to specify at the rate entity. You have to specify your class with at the rate entity annotation. So Hibernate will create a table name as customer, right? So let me create properties of customer. So what are all the properties I have told? So customer table will have ID and name. Okay, so customer table will have two properties, private long customer ID. Okay, so similarly private string customer name. So let me create generate setters and getter methods. Source, click on generate and setter methods, getters and setter methods. That's it. So let me override the toString method as well. Source generate. So I will not create toString, so because I want to show you what is the purpose of toString practically. So if you don't define toString method, what will happen we'll see later. Okay, so some people blindly will override the toString method, but they don't know the use of toString method. So this time I want to show you the purpose of toString method. If you don't override the toString method, we'll see what will happen, what is the problem we are going to face, and how we can fix by overriding toString method. Okay, so now let me create. So now customer has a primary key ID, right? So at the rate, so we have to declare it as a primary key. ID is a primary key in customer table. So let me create primary key. So now I want to auto generate primary key by Hibernate. So what we need to declare? Generated value to create primary keys for us, right? Otherwise you have to always you have to, before inserting you have to give primary key. uh, Instead of that, let's Hibernate generate our primary keys. Okay, so now I will give strategy called identity. So identity, it will sequence of primary keys, it will create 1 2 3 4 5 like that. Okay, 0 plus 1 1 like that. Okay, so now our customer entity is ready. Now let's create a bank account entity as well. So new class uh, bank account entity, bank account. Okay, I'm going to create bank account entity. So click on finish button. So now we need to declare with at the rate entity annotation. Now after that, let me create the properties. How many properties bank account will have? So I am taking only three columns. So bank account ID, bank account number, bank account name. That's it. So now let me create these three properties of bank account. Default properties of bank account for private long bank account ID. Done. Similarly private string bank account name. Similarly private uh, bank account name, what are the columns? ID, bank account name, so bank account number, so we need a bank account number as well, right? So let me create bank account number, private string bank account number. So let me generate two string and sorry, getters and setter methods. Generate getters and setter method. Why generate setters and getters? We needed to set the data, and to get the data we need a getters and setter methods. So now we need to declare primary key for bank account. So bank account ID is a primary key, right? So let me declare it as a primary key. So let's Hibernate generate a primary key for bank account as well. So generated value, and I will use strategy. If some people who is not having knowledge on strategy and what is this, so you can go through my previous videos, you can understand what is the use of generated value and strategy. Okay, so this is used to generate primary keys by default, so we no need to send, we no need to save the data with primary key. So Hibernate will generate the primary key for us. Okay, so now Hibernate or JPA. Yeah, now our bank account and customer two entities are ready. So this time, so let me give DDL auto property as a create. Later I will make it as update. So if you create in the sense DDL auto statement create nothing but, so it will delete the existing records, existing table in database, and it will create new tables in database. If it's already present, it will drop, and it will create new database table. So let me start the server. So let me open the database. So which database we are going to connect? So we are going to connect with associations DB. Okay, so let me copy the database name and we'll create it. So I am using SQL yoke to connect with MySQL database. So here SQL GUI we are using to perform database queries and to execute database queries. Okay, so now just create database. If you somebody don't know how to install MySQL yoke and all, you can watch my previous videos so that you can learn how to install SQL yoke and all. Okay, how to install MySQL I clearly explained in the previous videos. Okay, so I'm going to create associations DB. We are going to connect to database name associations. So as of now this database doesn't have any tables, right? So we have created a customer entity and bank account entity. Let's start the application. So Spring Boot will create a customer table and bank account table. Bank account table nothing but bank underscore account it will create, right? So now let me start the application. Okay, so this is first time we are starting the application, right? So just right click on this project. Like this is the main class of Spring Boot application. So execution will start from here. So just right click run as Java application. Let me open the database and refresh the object browser and check whether tables are created or not. Tables are not created. Why? So let me declare a one-to-one association mapping as well. So because it is I think what is the time now? 8 6:20, right? So I have a prayer time. So let me go to prayer and come back. Okay, I will pause this video. Yeah, hello guys, I just came back. So now, so where are we currently? I think we have created the entities customer and bank account, right? So customer and bank account entities are created. So let me check in database. Server is in running mode. So let me check in database. So whether tables are created or not. Refresh object repository, object browser. Tables are not created. Why? Let me check. Let me stop the server and let me start the server again. We'll see whether table are created or not. Let me check the console. Okay, let me see. Let me enable show underscore SQL Hibernate. How we can see, Hibernate will generate internally. Hibernate will generate SQL statements, right, to create the tables. So there is no tables are created. I think we have to enable the property to show underscore SQL, right? So let me add the property spring dot jpa dot show hyphen SQL equal true. So once you enable this property, so the Hibernate will generate the SQL statements once you run the server. So we'll see that those queries, right? So let me, so I just saved the file. We'll see still queries are not generated. Let me clear the console. Let me check ddl auto statement spring dot hibernate dot ddl hyphen auto. Okay, here I have missed out jpa. So the property should be spring dot jpa dot hibernate dot ddl hyphen auto equal create. Okay, so let me save the file. Let me clear the console. The moment you save the file, server will restart again. So let me, yeah, you can see now table are created. So if it is checking whether it is tables are exist or not. If it exists, it will drop, otherwise it will create new tables. So create bank account and create customer tables are created successfully in database. But this is not readable format, right? So let me add the property to format these SQL statements. So to format these SQL statements, so as of now we are not able to, this SQL format structure is not good. So now let me format the SQLs. So how we can format? By adding the property spring dot jpa dot properties dot hibernate dot format underscore SQL equal true. So the moment you add this property, so hibernate the hibernate generated SQL queries will be display properly so that you can read properly. So let me clear the console and let me save this file. So now our server will restart now. See now, you can see now it is clearly you can read the SQL statement. So create table bank account created by the Hibernate and customer also created. So both the entities are created in database. Right, so now let me go to the database and refresh object browser and yeah, see customer table is created. So id and name, customer id and name, and bank account, so bank account id, name, account name and number. So bank account will have id, name, bank account name and number. Now it doesn't have any relationship, just we have created the tables, right? So Hibernate is generated the table. Now let me establish the relationship between one to many and many to one relationship. So we have to create the relationship between customer and bank account and tables. So what kind of relationship? One to many and many to one. So one customer can have multiple bank accounts and multiple bank accounts can have one customer. So let me add the, let me establish the relationship between customer and bank account. So what we discussed earlier, so uh, I want to make bank account owning the relationship. So if any entity which is owning the relationship, it will have foreign key relationship. So it will have foreign key of other table, right? So now let me, so if you are, so now bank account is owning the relationship, right? So now I want to become, I want to, sorry, I want to make bank account as a owning the relationship. So bank account will have customer property. So now let me create the property to, a property for bank account in sorry, bank account table. So I want to create bank account entity as a owning the relationship, right? So let me create customer property in bank account entity. So private customer and customer. That's it. So here, so let me stop the server, otherwise it will keep disturb us. So say once all the changes are done, then we'll start the server again. Okay. So customer, so let me create the setters and getter methods. Source, generate getters and setter methods, select all. That's it, done. So now to establish the connection, so bank account will have, so bank account owning the, currently bank account, I want to create bank account as owning the relationship. Bank account will own the relationships, nothing but, so it will have customer ID, right? So to establish the connection, what is that, what kind of relationship? So bank account will associated, multiple bank accounts will associated with one customer, that is nothing but many to one relationship. So that's the reason I am giving at the rate many to one annotation. So how we can specify many to one relationship? So by declaring at the rate many to, sorry, many to one, by declaring many to one annotation. So now bank account, so bank account, each bank account will associated with one customer. Similarly multiple bank accounts will associated with one customer, right? Many to one. So that's it. So now bank account become, bank account entity is owning the relationship. So what about customer? So customer is non-owning side relationship. So when we are discussing, so customer can have multiple bank accounts, right? So customer can associated with multiple bank accounts, nothing but, so customer will have, we have to, customer can associated with multiple bank accounts. So to store the multiple bank accounts or to specify multiple bank accounts, we have to create data structures. How? Multiple bank accounts, customer can associated with multiple bank accounts, in the sense we have to create list of bank accounts object, list of bank accounts in customer entity. So let me define that, private list of bank accounts. So each customer will associated with multiple bank accounts, right? List of bank account. So bank account list is equal to new array list. So whenever you are performing with multiple data, so that time we have to create the data, we have to create data structure, any data structure you can use. So for example I am using here array list, I am using. Let me organize the import. So one customer can have multiple bank accounts, so that is the reason I have created array list here. So some people may have doubt, they will some people uh, blindly by heart the code. So don't by heart the code. Okay, so what I'm why we have created array list here? So what is the meaning of here? What is the meaning of that one to many relationship or many to one? What is the meaning of many to one relationship or one to many? So one to many, in the sense one customer can associated with multiple bank accounts. So when we are discussing with one to one relationship, that time one customer can have with only one bank account, or one employee can associate with one passport. That is the reason during the one to one relationship we have created only one directly employee and passport, nothing but just passport object I have created. So here what is the concept here? One customer can associated with multiple bank accounts, multiple bank accounts in the self, many, one, either one account, two account, three accounts. So that's the reason we have created list object, list of bank account objects. Okay, so one customer can associated with multiple bank accounts. Okay, that's the reason we have created list of bank accounts. So what kind of relationship it is? One to many, one customer can associated with multiple bank accounts, nothing but one to many. So we have to declare annotation one to many annotation. So the moment you declare one to many annotation, so one customer can associated with multiple bank accounts. Similarly here in bank account entity, one customer can associated with, sorry, here one to many to one, in the sense multiple bank accounts can associated with one customer. You have to understand the concept, guys. Many bank accounts can be associated with one customer, nothing but many to one relationship. That's it. So now you can see here I have declared one to many relationship and many to one relationship. So that is how we can declare one to many and many to one relationship. So here bank I am creating bank account as a ownership. So bank account entity is owning the relationship. So owning that means that nothing but many to one relationship. So now whenever it is owning the relationship, so other side, so customer should have mapped by attribute. You have to specify mapped by attribute. Mapped by in the sense non owning the relationship. So whenever one entity is becoming as a ownership, so other side, customer is non-owning side. So if it is non-owning side, nothing but we always need to declare specify with mapped by attribute. Don't blindly remember the code. So what is the purpose I declared mapped by? So I am creating customer as a non-owning side relationship. Non-owning side relationship, nothing but customer is not associated with bank account, nothing but this is not directly owning the relationship. Who is owning the relationship? Bank account is owning the relationship with one customer. So that's the reason for customer is non-owning side. So non-owning side we have to declare it as a mapped by attribute. So what is the property you have to give? So who is the owner? Bank account is the owner here. So what is the property? Customer. So this customer name you have to specify with the help of mapped by attribute. So now this is bidirectional mapping. Okay, so customer also can access the multiple bank accounts. So customer will associated with multiple bank accounts, and multiple bank accounts can associated with one customer. Okay, so I have established the connection. So you should understand, guys. So here mapped by, if any property defined with mapped by, so that class is a non-owning relationship. If any property which is defined without mapped by attribute, then this class is become as a owning the relationship. Okay, you have to learn the concept. Okay, so you can directly, whenever you are looking any new entity in your real-time projects anywhere, so this customer, okay, this entity is having only many to one relationship, it doesn't have any mapped by. So if it doesn't have mapped by in the sense, bank account is owning the relationship. So here in customer, so customer is having mapped by in the sense customer is non-owning side relationship. Okay, so now I have declared the one to many and many to one relationship. So now if I start the server, so Hibernate should generate a table like customer will have ID and name, and bank account should have ID, number, name and customer ID, right? So let me start the server and we'll see now. So earlier, before starting the server, so before that, bank account and customer doesn't have any relationship. If you see, bank account is having primary key and customer is having its own primary key, but both are not having relationships. So now I have created relationship between customer and bank account, right? So now if you start the server, it will create the relationship between both the tables. Hibernate will create the relationship between both the tables. What kind of relationship? One to many and many to one relationship. So let me start the server. See, you can see customer, see bank account table added foreign key of customer id. You can see bank account id is having customer id. When we am discussing here, you can see bank account should have id, number, name and customer id, because bank account is a owning the relationship, so it has foreign key. So whichever entity is owning the relationship, it always have foreign key. So here bank account is owning the relationship, so bank account will have foreign key. See, you can see foreign key customer underscore id. This customer underscore id is a primary key of customer table. You got my table, we got the concept, right? So now our tables are ready to test one to one and one to many to one relationship. Okay, so let me go to the database and refresh the object browser. You can see now table will have bank account will have foreign key. So bank, since bank account is owning the relationship, it has foreign key customer underscore id. Similarly, customer is non-owning side entity, so it will have only primary key and its own name, its own primary key and name. Okay, so now we can insert the data in database. So one customer will have multiple bank accounts. So bank account will have multiple bank accounts, and customer will have one customer will associate with multiple bank accounts, and multiple bank accounts can associated with one customer. So let me insert the data. How we are going to insert the data? So I want to test this with the help of command line runner. So let me extend. So in previous lecture I already explained about command line runner, right? So we can easily test our associations by extending command line runner. Command line, why it's not, oh sorry, it is a interface actually, that's the reason that is not showing. Implements, you can see command line runner. So command line runner will have a run method, so add unimplemented method. That's it, by selecting here. So if you don't let me stop the server. Okay, so control z. If you see, the moment you implement command line runner, so it will ask us to add unimplemented method. Just put cursor here and click on add unimplemented method. So run method is available in command line runner. So why we have added this? To test our one-to-one relationship. Okay, so the moment you start the server, spring boot will initialize the application context, then it will execute run method of command line runner. So whatever statements if you write inside this run method will be executed. Okay, so now what is our requirement? We have to perform one to many and many to one relationship. So we have a customer and bank account entities are ready. So to perform database operations, we need to need a jpa repository, right? So I am going to use jpa repository to perform database operations. So for that purpose, I am going to create, right click on the root package and create the package name called repository dot repository. Finish. So inside the repository, so we have to create, we have two entities, right? Customer and bank account. Let me create customer jpa repository to perform database operations. Customer jpa repository, and it will sorry, it will extends jpa repository, right? Jpa repository, sorry, that is the interface, right? So let me, oh, 1 second guys. jpa repository, right click and click on this, should, it should be interface. Okay, so we have to create repository as an interface. So customer customer jpa repository, jpa repository, and then it will have jpa repository. That's it. Click on finish button. It will extend jpa repository. Customer jpa repository will extend jpa repository to perform insert or update operations or delete operations. So here you need to pass customer entity, and here you have to pass primary key data type name. Data type, what is that? Long data type. So you have to declare your repository as a at the rate repository. That's it. So now customer JPA repository is ready to insert or update or delete the customer table. So similarly, to perform with database operation with bank accounts, we need to create bank account JPA repository. Let me create interface bank account JPA repository. Bank account JPA repository. So it will extend JPA repository. Click on finish button, and then it will have uh, bank account entity, and what is the primary key of bank account data type? It should be long. I have given long. So if you give integer, if you have to give integer, I just specify it long. So let me remove and organize the imports. Control Shift O. So bank account JPA repository is ready now. So specify with at the rate repository annotation. So our repositories are ready now. Now go to our Spring Boot application. So now we can perform one-to-one and many-to-one relationship. Okay, so it's already 50 minutes video. So what we can do, so in next lecture we will implement one-to-many and many-to-one relationship. Okay, in this lecture you have learned how to define one-to-many and many-to-one relationship and how to create a customer and bank account entities. So next lecture we will implement actual functionality of many-to-one and one-to-many relationship. Will catch you in next lecture. Okay, so who are all watching newly, so you can subscribe my channel to watch all the videos. My channel name is youtube.com/, at the rate rasu hyphen shake hyphen playlist. So if anyone and if any if anyone guys, this is my website. So if anyone watching newly to my videos, watching videos, if you subscribe by using this URL, so this is my URL to this is my YouTube channel URL, so you can subscribe my channel to watch all the videos. Okay, so thank you guys. If you subscribe my channel, so you can get all the updated videos and you can learn Spring Boot, Angular JS, and all other concepts. Okay, thanks.